Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. As always, it's me, Ivan, and I'm finally delivering on what I promised, the review of the Milifortic S089. I know I'm a bit late to the party, since two of the color options are already sold out, but I still think it's worth taking a closer look and seeing how this model stacks up against my Alpinist SARB017, and chances are they'll restock soon anyway. So, without any further delay, let's check it out. Full transparency guys, this watch was sent to me by Milifortic for a review, but everything you're about to hear is my honest opinion, and I didn't get to watch the video in advance. That said, if you're interested in getting one of these, you can keep an eye out for their AliExpress store, where with coupons and discount codes you can grab it for a bit less than $200 US. Right now only the model with the gold PVD bezel is available, but given how popular this model has become, they'll probably restock the other colors soon. Just like the previous Milifortics I featured here on the channel, the S089 comes in the same packaging, so instead of wasting time talking about that, let's jump straight to the dimensions. And guys, this is where things start to get interesting because they are almost identical to the SARB017. You get a case diameter of 39.5mm, a lug-to-lug of 46, and a thickness of just 12mm. The lug width is also the same at 20mm, and on the supplied rubber strap the watch weighs 92 grams. And of course, if the dimensions are basically the same as the Alpinist, you can expect it to wear pretty much the same as well. As always, here it is on my 17cm or 6.7-inch wrist, and yeah, it really does look and feel like an Alpinist, which means it's great for everyday wear. Before we continue with the design, build quality and finishing, let's have a quick chat about this rubber strap. I've seen a few comments saying it's not the best match for a field watch, and while I agree, I also have to say that it's actually pretty great in terms of quality and comfort. It's thick but flexible and it feels nice on the wrist. That said, this cheap grey strap I picked up on AliExpress is a decent option too. It's not as comfortable, but it definitely improves the overall appearance. And you know guys, out of curiosity, I also tried my strap coat bracelet from the Alpinist. It doesn't fit perfectly because of that big gap between the case and the lower end link, but it does give you an idea of how good the Milifortic would look on a proper bracelet. So if you're also hoping they release one for it, let me know in the comments down below. Moving on to the design, there isn't a ton to break down since, once again, it's very close to the SARB017, but there are a few differences worth pointing out. The overall case shape is pretty much the same, with the two crowns on the right sitting in the familiar positions, and the crown guards looking nearly identical. However, when you look at both cases from the side, you immediately notice that the Seiko is a lot more rounded. Flip them over and you also see that the compass crowns are a bit different. And finally, while the case back share a similar style, they are not identical either. But hey, let's be honest. At a glance, the Milifortic is unmistakably a Seiko Alpinist lookalike. I would say it's 80% the same, and if you're not looking too closely, you could easily confuse it with an actual Alpinist. As far as the build quality and finishing go, you'll be happy to know that the Milifortic is pretty much on par with the SARB017. You get a 316L steel case, a sapphire crystal, and a screw-down crown and case back. The water resistance is 100 meters instead of 200, but that's still perfectly fine for swimming. If I'm being picky, I would say the Seiko's finishing is just a touch better. You don't really notice it with the naked eye, but on camera the brushing looks a bit finer, and the polishing a bit more mirror-like. Still, the Milifortic is absolutely a well-made and nicely finished watch, and once again, you'll be hard-pressed to spot those differences without really looking for them. Alright guys, next let's take a closer look at the dial. This review would have been better if I had the green Milifortic in hand, but it sold out so quickly that I had to settle for this one. Either way, all you need to know is that the Milifortic's dial is nicely executed, and just like with the case, there are a few subtle differences compared to my Alpinist. One is the font, which is noticeably different, and the other is the handset. The hands here are slightly thinner and not skeletonized near the stem. Besides that, the overall layout is basically the same. You get a date window at 3 o'clock, the branding at 12, and some additional text at 6. And when it comes to the lume, both watches perform about the same in the dark. The Alpinist is slightly brighter and lasts a bit longer, but in my opinion that's mostly because its hands and lume dots are a bit larger, and not because the actual lume compound is so much better. Finally guys, before I give you my final thoughts, I just want to quickly mention the movement. As you would expect, the Milifortic comes with the NH35, while my SARB017 uses the 6R15. Personally, I actually prefer the NH35, because in my experience, it's a more consistent caliber when it comes to accuracy. I've had the Milifortic for about 3 weeks now, and it's been running just 2 seconds fast per day, which is honestly very impressive. My Alpinist on the other hand, I've owned for around 7 years, and it's running about 21 seconds fast a day, which isn't bad either, considering it's never been serviced. There you have it everyone, the Milifortic S089 delivers the look, feel and experience of a Seiko Alpinist at a fraction of the price. I know some of you aren't the biggest fans of homage pieces, but let's be honest, in 2025 an actual Alpinist goes for anywhere between $700 and $1,000 or euros, depending on the model and the deal you can get. So I'm really glad Milifortic made this watch, because it gives people a chance to enjoy this iconic design for under $200. And to be completely fair, if I didn't already own my SARB017, I doubt I would drop $700 or more on an Alpinist today. I'd probably just go with the Milifortic instead. But hey, that's just my take, and now I would love to hear yours, so make sure you share it in the comments. Alright, that's gonna do it for today's video. As always guys, thank you so much for watching, for supporting the channel, and for spending a bit of your time with me. If you enjoyed the review, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the video with someone who might find it helpful. Take care guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.